Yes, yeah, like a little bit of music to start things off. You guys, the first time I ever did that.
Yeah.
You guys are at the first podcast that I've ever done that, and I think that's just gonna have to be a thing. And you guys can go ahead and blame my co-host for the day for that because she just makes me feel fabulous. So I had to do something like that with the music. All right, guys, so check it out. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and all the other good stuff and all the different venues. But today I'm really excited because I got two guests, so it's a 2-for-1. We don't have Crew Paul here today to co-host. He's actually on vacation right now, but he'll definitely be back next episode. But for this episode, I've got a special mother-loving, that's my favorite word. Hold on. Oh, of course. Oh, why does technology have to always break on me? Anyway, so I've got a special co-host today. She's, well, there's a lot I can say about her that I need to get a tech up in here. I need somebody to be my tech. Hey, by the way, we're looking for a tech for this podcast and my other one, Righteous Anger Podcast. So if you are in the DC metro area and you want to learn about or already know about being a show producer and tech, then please, help us out. Because Leo doing everything and conducting interviews is getting kind of tough. But anyway, so I'd like to introduce first my co-host, lovely Leah Marie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, it didn't go to you. Hold on. Did it go to you that time? What about now? There she is.
Hello.
Hello. What's up? Say hi to the camera, though. Say right there.
Hello.
There we go. And, of course, we've got a guy in here I've been wanting to get on for a while. His schedule, it worked out for this week, and he was all about it. I've got a guy here that has been called one of the hardest guys working in MMA. He's... if you look at this guy's record, and we talked to, David Arvelo. I try to sexy up his name every time, but anyway, Doombeard. We talked to him a few episodes ago, and he's an agent in the combat sports arena, and he interviewed you, right?
Oh yeah,
he interviewed you years ago. Yeah, back in 2014, and. He had nothing but awesome things to say about you, and I enjoyed watching that interview. But one thing that he said when he was on here, the Fight Game podcast, is he said, we look at people's records to see if they're ready, and we're really going to invest our time in them. On top of our guest today being one of the hardest working guys in MMA, as far as his training, his dieting, getting out there and competing. We've got a guy here that served his country, Army, right?
Yeah.
Army veteran here. And if you look at his record, this guy does not take on opponents. Doesn't take on... doesn't take bums on. Let me go back to me. He doesn't take bums on. This guy fights, and every fight it could go either way. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yeah, some fights are easier than others, but it's a fight. Anything can happen. So.
Yeah, and he's had awesome coaches, and I think part of the fact that you've had tough opponents and always had pretty tough opponents is the fact that your coaches are like, yeah, you're gonna take on a guy that's going to challenge you and take you to the next level. Yeah. So. I'm talking to a serious heavy hitter right here in the MMA game. I'm talking to a guy at 6'3", fought at 155 for some reason. Almost died a couple times doing it. Now he fights at 170. You'd like to fight in 180, but it's just putting on those pounds is kind of tough.
Keeping the weight on, it's hard.
All right.
I know people hate to hear that, but hey, the grass is always green on the other side, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Most people want to be skinnier. I would like to be bigger.
A little bigger, yeah. Skinny guy problems. I don't know nothing about those problems. Yeah. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to, of course, Kenny Good2Go Gaudreau.
Hello.
I'd say one of the nicest guys in MMA too.
Oh,
maybe not in the cage, but definitely in that. You're like what do you call it? Very approachable, sweetheart type of guy. Let me tell you.
Thank you.
Until you get punched in the face by this guy, I'm sure. So let me start off with you, Leah, first of all, thank you for coming and
Yes.
taking up the job of co-host.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, let me. There we go. Is it back on you or is it on me again? Oh, it's on me again.
Yeah.
See, I need a tech, dag nabbit. Here, bring the mic a little closer to your mouth. All right. So, how do I do this? Not awkward. I always say it as awkward as possible for the men, but
yeah,
I'm trying to.
It's cool. Equally awkward.
Okay, good.
Chill.
So Leah, I saw that you did, and don't worry, everybody's gonna flame me. Like, okay, get back to Kenny. Okay, I get it. It's Kenny's show, but.
Sure, chilling.
I just want to get a little bit from Leah. Leah,
Yeah.
you're in the fight game.
Sure, yes.
And
I shouldn't say sure. I mean, yeah, I train, I fight, I give these guys a hard time every chance I get.
Right? And what do you what all do you do in the fight game? Like, what all are you training? How do you help out? I know that you work at Disciple, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
So what are you doing?
So at Disciple, I have like a a lot of things I do there. Many hats. Thank you. Many hats I wear there. So I do everything from front desk stuff, which is like traditional stuff, just the everyday day-to-day stuff, from like getting organizing some of the fights, the guys' tickets, their sales, announcements, the Facebook page. I train Muay Thai there, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, no gi strictly. I hate gi. For a lot of reasons.
Like what?
Okay, so I have a problem. Me and the
word.
gi have a damn problem. All right, so I hate gi for women. Okay, so men, when they wear gi, they don't have to wear a shirt under their gi. So they can train. You have this big, like, woven, heavyweight gi on, right? So men traditionally, don't wear shirts underneath. Women, obviously, you have to in some way.
And Leo.
Obviously.
And Leo, because I also have breasts. I have to keep them. It's either that or a sports bra. I'm not wearing a sports bra.
So yeah, you have to wear like a shirt or something underneath it, and then it's like your shirt comes up to here, your gi's open. Like there's so many wardrobe malfunctions that I'm like, yeah, so screw gi. I just do no gi. So I'm always I try to get in there as much as possible, but yeah. So that's kind of what I do at Disciple. But my background, how I started, was in Taekwondo as when I was young. So did the Taekwondo thing like most kids. So at second degree black belt, I stopped promoting. I was up for promotion for third degree, and actually moved out of the state and just couldn't find any other gym ever that was like ethical, or that their coaches were good, or that I got along with the people overall. Maybe the gym was dirty, whatever the case is. So many problems like trying to find a good gym. So finally I found Disciple, and I went on their like Facebook, because I always judge people. I'm like, okay, well, what are your ratings? So I went on there. I was like, there's no way you could have like over 100 ratings and still have like, I think they have like a 4.9 like rating high, or something like that. And I'm like, there's no way. You have to be good if you have like hundreds of ratings. Yeah. So I went there, and immediately you felt a sense of family and team. Everybody's just like super welcoming, and that's kind of how I got to Disciple. I was a lost soul looking for my tribe. Yeah.
And then you finally found him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So. Yeah. That's something I've heard about Disciple from people I don't even know, just I asked them, so what do you think about this? What do you think about this place? Like, what's the best part? What's the worst part? And it's always the family aspect is really important, and y'all travel in groups
all
man.
The time. Yes, yeah. Deep.
Yeah, you guys travel.
Yeah, we just got back from. Well, I didn't. I meal prepped for them. That was like my way of say I'm with you in spirit. But like they went to Bizrat's fight in Connecticut, and how many people went? Like.
Close to 10.
Yeah,
so,
it's about 10 people.
Traveling 8+ hours. Yeah, staying overnight.
To get to someone's fight, right. So, yeah, when we go, we're a pack.
Yeah, you guys roll deep. Yeah. That's awesome. And it's interesting that you mentioned, what did you say exactly? I wish I could play back. You said something like, not that they weren't honorable, but there was gyms.
Oh, and ethical?
Yeah, ethical.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so some people, unethical means like you treat the people that come to your gym as a price tag. And you want like all of their money, yet your instructing or your instructors aren't there, and they can't bring you to the next level. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they're always trying to scam you, or stuff like that.
Yeah, martial arts traditionally, traditional martial arts traditionally are tend to be that way.
Take your dough, Taekwondo.
Yeah.
That's what,
Yeah. And that's the problem I had with Taekwondo. That's why I've never went back to Taekwondo, is because it's so watered down. What am I supposed to do? You know?
Not to say that there aren't true masters of Taekwondo out there. But
it's commercialized.
Generally, it's very commercialized.
It's so commercialized. So it's like, what do you do?
Same thing happened to karate.
Yeah, karate.
And Taekwondo and all that Hapkido. I remember that was bad in the 90s. If you learned Hapkido, you were a bad motherfucker. Yeah. But nowadays it's like, go. And now we're starting to see it with MMA. Now you're starting to see McDojos for MMA. Yeah.
And they just keep on like popping up. It's like the cool thing to do. Everybody wants to do it now. And it's kind of like the crash diets, and like people just like jump on them. It's like
do you realize what you signed up for?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know that this is a life devotion?
Yeah.
It's called being a martial artist.
Martial artist. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you bring that up, because we forget. Oh yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, we forget the fact that martial arts has there's honor involved, and I think whenever you take the aspect of death away from something, that's where the watering down starts to happen. And in lieu of death, you have competition, right? So loss,
right?
That
is a death.
That's a death. Yeah. That's a type of death, and that brings the seriousness of what you're doing. So if you're doing martial arts, you're calling yourself a martial artist, but you don't compete in said martial arts. It's like, what are you doing? You're not getting the full aspect. So, Leah, again, thanks for joining the podcast today. And I want to go ahead and make the announcement that Leah is actually going to be hosting a new show that Fight Game Podcast is putting out, or Fight Game, the overall company is putting out, called Fight Game All Access. And Leah is going to be introducing us to gyms and fight teams and see their way of life, what they do, and all that. So
that should be fun.
That's going to be awesome. She's going to get to participate and train with them, and most people, they see Leo, and then they see Leo. That's me.
That's you. And we're going to go through this all day.
All day. And then they see Leah, and they go, "We want more Leah." And I go, "Okay, roger that. Here, you guys can have more her." Hey, come on! I'm not going to fight against fans, right? So
give the fans what they want.
Give them what they want. More Leah.
More co-hosting by Leah.
That's right. So Leah, thanks for being a part of that as well.
That's going to be fun.
Kenny,
what's up?
Good2Go, Gaudreau.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First of all, I asked you this before, but for the fans out there listening, how'd you get Good2Go? The name?
Oh, one of my old training partners. I had a couple of names coming up, but Good2Go stuck just because it. Everyone says you're good to go. I was like, hey, it'll be on top of mine, and it rhymes with the last name. But my friend Brian T-Vault, we were just rolling one day, and he's like, man, you're like you just don't stop, do you? You just keep coming and coming. You're good to go. You're Kenny good to go. And I was like, I kind of like that.
And that worked out.
Yeah,
that is a good one. And I usually, when talking about you, it's easier to go good to go.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's just easier.
The last name's kind of long, and I kind of wanted it to be something to.
It's catchy.
Well, that's what it is.
And it's like something you've been saying like every day since not every day, but since you've been younger.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh yeah, you're good to go.
Good to go.
Whatever. It's like a catchy phrase that like people are familiar with saying already. So.
And it works. It works with your personality too, because it's not douchebaggy.
Yeah.
It's not like Kenny.
I'd probably have a douchebag one. That'd be mine.
A shredinator.
Yeah. Like I don't know, like
Leah, rip your heart out.
Right. Leah the killer or something stupid like that. Like good to go.
Track killer.
Yeah. So I 100%. I think most people out there are like, that's a good to go name. Very good. Yeah.
Well, it plays back to a philosophy. It's just a mindset. That you can always see everything through a positive lens. It may not be a positive thing, but you can still try to, pull pull from it what you can and not absorb so much of the negative, you know?
Right.
So,
And, you know, I was also, Kenny was in the military. He's an Army veteran. I'm a Navy veteran. And Good2Go is one of those things you hear all the time in the military. It's like, usually with like pieces of equipment, you know, you look at your M4 and you take it to the armor. Is it good to go? And what does good to go mean? It means, can I take this into battle and trust this?
right.
So, I mean,
Exactly.
Boom.
That is exactly the mindset
Yeah.
of, yeah, you got it. Right, nail on the
There you
hammer.
go.
Good job.
Where's my bell?
I know, right? Where's
Seriously, we
that?
need a noise for that. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Right on. So Good2Go. Let me ask you, what got you into mixed martial arts?
My mom. You know, I wrestled in high school. I was short and skinny. I got picked on a lot. Kind of wanted to, I didn't sprout up until probably my senior year.
Wow.
I was a late bloomer.
Oh wow.
And a young graduate, so it was kind of two for one there. I was like, but yeah, that's what got me. A friend got me into wrestling. He said, "Hey, come check this out." I was like, "I don't want to do that fake stuff. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do the real stuff." So he was like, "No, this is the real stuff." And he took me into the wrestling room, and yeah, it was about as real as it gets. But then I went off to basic, came back. I was hanging around Winchester for a little bit and making some bad decisions, and got in a few fights at, you know, party here, party there, out on the street, you know. And I'd come home and my mom would see me and she'd be like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you getting all these fights?"
Okay, immediately, I'm thinking about Karate Kid. That scene when Daniel San's mom is like, "What happened? You take those glasses off. What happened?" You know, and she freaks out and is, "I want to do karate, Mom." No, not that stuff at the Y. So it was as similar as your mom, like, you need to get trained, dude. You need to.
Pretty much. She was like, "Yeah, you're not. This isn't who my son is. Like, my son doesn't get his butt kicked like this." So, and she was doing jujitsu at the time.
Oh wow, that's
in
cool.
Winchester.
She was doing jujitsu.
That's badass.
So
Whoa.
she
Yeah.
brought me to the gym, and that's where I met Bob Bittner and Joe Boserman and a lot of the guys that I get to train with today still, 12 years later. So,
Wow. That's really cool. That is I notice like all around with families, like when families train together, it kind of brings everybody understands like what the other one's going through. Like I grew up in a dojo too, and my mom trained. My mom got to black belt and was just like, "See, I did it." Bye. Like she just had to
Check.
prove like one thing, and then that was it. But yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so.
And then so you were down in Winchester training out there.
Yep, George Waby led out, we were called Core Combat Fitness. So one of my nicknames for a month or two was Combat Kenny because of that. you
Oh,
know.
okay.
But,
Not bad, but that is kind of douchey.
yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
So, yeah, we moved facilities. We affiliated with MMA Institute, and I started fighting back in 2008. Took my first fight. She said, "Please promise me you will not get in any more fights, and you will not take any fights unless these men say you can do it." And I was like, "These men?" I was like, "Who are these men?" So I go in there, I start training with them, and just humble. Like, I was a little arrogant, you know what I mean? But instant humble. Like, choke here, armbar here. This guy's 100 pounds, 120 pounds. What do you take down? Get in the mount and hit him in the face. That should work, right? No, did not work. So it's a cool experience.
A lot of young people just want to like get right into that cage.
Right.
They want to pound. They're like, and hey, man, I win in my street fights all the time. Shouldn't be
Yeah.
shouldn't be a problem, right?
Totally not like
It's
that.
like,
yeah.
all right, Kimbo Slice, calm down. You know? You were training out at MMA Institute, of course, Rick McCoy's.
Yep.
And
Down in Richmond.
And that's a serious freaking gym.
We've got killers down there.
Killers. Absolutely. In fact, that's the word I use every time. Every time Rick posts a picture, I'm always like, yep, killers.
Killer 1, Killer 2.
Yeah. And how did you hang down there? Like, did you hang pretty tough out there? Or?
Yeah. I mean, you know, they taught the techniques to everybody. So everybody learned the techniques however they learned them, and then you apply them to each other. It's like anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was never really gifted in any sort of athletic way. I never had a lot of muscle mass, obviously. I am tall, but for fighting, it's like 3/4 leg, 1/4 torso. So, but through the techniques and adapting them, you know, which ones work for me, which ones work for them, you know, you're able to hang. You know, you kind of figure that out along the way.
And when they train you, they say if you're not worried about training, you're not really training. So did you ever get that feeling like before going into the gym, like, that little bit of apprehension or like kind of like, whoa, what's going to happen today type of thing?
Oh yes, especially when you first start, the first year when you're learning everything, that you're going in there to just basically get your ass kicked for 3 hours that night. After
You are
you've
not
had,
going to win.
yeah, like after you've had an 8-hour day at work and you've gone to school in the morning,
Yeah.
like you have that's hard.
It's a thing. Like so when I first started, there was jiu-jitsu at Disciple. I was like the second girl in there. The other girl doesn't really come that much. So like I'm constantly, grappling, wrestling with guys, and they're all bigger than me. And so it's like literally fend for your life. And then eventually over time, you
You'll
will
better.
submit one. So it might take a little bit of time, but yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Going in there not knowing anything.
Yeah, well, and then you get into a groove, right? And that groove is 100% given to you, as opposed to kind of like with your mom's advice. She said you're not going to fight until these guys say you can fight, right? Well, I've seen like there's most gyms, good gyms. What they do is they have a fight team, and then they have everybody else,
Right.
And you have to prove yourself to even get in to the fight team.
Yep.
So at what point were you like brought into that group down at MMA Institute?
So we actually, right now at Winchester, I teach at the Winchester Jiu-Jitsu Academy. We've got an MMA team out there. And we have a 6-month mandatory, you must train striking art and grappling art for 6 months and then get an invite. So it's a little bit more, this is actually what you do. But back then, like 10 years ago, it was more of just kind of like a head nod or like a shoulder shrug or like a, hey, you, come over here. And, the guys we had back then were Eddie, and they were tough guys. Carl Klein, like we had a lot of ruthless guys, but they were so much better. We got thrown right into the wolves. So there was no like, hey, you're going to get that 6 months to actually learn everything and get kind of good, and then we'll throw you to the wolves. It was like, no, we're going to beat the hell out of you until you get better.
Which way though? Which way do you think is better to learn?
Well, we've definitely evolved now. I think
Yeah.
now, like how a lot of gyms do it now is definitely the better way, because you just don't take as much damage to the brain.
Yeah,
you know?
the basics of the ground, the
Right.
basics of the stand up, and then it's like, all right,
Training-
let's talk about combining it.
Training has changed so much in that respect. Like training, there we go. Training is like not that long ago. It everywhere I went to, everywhere I trained,
Here.
whether it was here or when I was stationed in San Diego, I did training out there, and it was exactly that. I mean, we're not talking that long ago. We're talking about less than 10 years ago. It was all about banging and surviving.
Bang, bang.
Who's the toughest?
Here, pull that towards you.
Who's the toughest?
Right. Who's the toughest, and who? And what went with that was you're gonna get. I'm not gonna say you're gonna get traumatic brain injury, but
You'll get concussions.
You're gonna get concussions.
Yeah.
You're
You
gonna
get chipped teeth.
absolutely
Cauliflower ear.
Hell yeah. You're gonna
Get
get
that anyway.
Well, yeah, but that's gonna happen to you, and it was like one of those trade-offs. It's like, well, if I want to get to where I want to go, then I'm gonna have to
Get through this fire.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see guys do it more of the Thailand way, which is those guys go like 10% in training. They don't go 80, 90, 100%, they're so controlled. They save it for the ring, and they realize that all the training and the getting the muscle memory and learning the strategies doesn't need to involve possibly getting concussed.
Right.
Like you don't need that. And it really took for me when Cowboy Cerrone said the same thing. He goes, yeah, I spent most of my career just banging, and he's like, I don't do that anymore,
Right.
Because I want to like continue.
Longevity.
Yeah,
I want to be able
longevity.
to walk when I'm 60. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're trying to get Cowboy Cerrone out here. I hear
yep, he's coming to the East Coast, gonna put on a good show for everybody. That's pretty cool.
that
It's
is
big news.
That is what's up. I can't
Yeah.
wait, and I want to get him on the podcast. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just bring a Budweiser, and I'm sure he'll show up.
Oh, that's way too easy.
Or a case.
Just for him. Here you go.
I heard he likes to party.
Here, I pay you in beer. Come on, though. Having friends like that is kind of awesome, where it's like you're trying to convince them to do something. It's like, hey, I'll pay you in beer, or something that you can offer, them. That's
Yeah,
great, though.
For me,
something other than currency.
For me, it's tattooing.
Yeah.
most times if I want somebody to do something hardcore, I'm like, I'll tattoo you.
I didn't know you do tattoos.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
know that
pretty cool.
either.
Yeah, I'm a licensed tattoo artist here in Virginia.
All right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've been looking to get.
Well, I
some
know, right?
touch-ups
Hello. We've all been talking about, that's like a big thing. I kind of feel like that's a big thing, right? Like
in fighting.
yeah, it's
Tattoo
like
culture. Definitely.
Yeah,
It's part of our culture.
It is.
If you're a fighter, you got to have tattoos and cauliflower ear.
yeah. Well, fuck that for the ear, but
You're gonna need to get. You're gonna need to get it.
earmuffs, protect yourself. But no, yeah, but yeah, tattoos totally. That's the thing.
I think one of the videos I might start doing is assessing fighters' tattoos.
Yes.
Like watch their fights, and be like, oh god, look at that.
That guy's gonna win because of his tattoos.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really
So
because of his tattoos.
we debate about that, like. Because if you ever watch like fighting and then someone is like all tatted up, chest piece, neck piece, and you're like, oh man, like that person's hardcore. They're gonna win. He has more tattoos than the other person. Like sometimes that is legitly the case.
But then others, it's not.
Yeah. If like the other guy has
Garbrandt
0
versus
tattoos,
Dillashaw
then that
last
guy
night.
wins.
perfect example.
Yeah.
God, man, I lost $3 on that.
Oh no, I was so
Yeah, we
pissed
did
off
for
watching that.
$3.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I lost some money.
There was a bet going on.
We
there,
did. We
yeah.
did a very small game bet on that,
Yeah.
and I had Garbrandt just because, and it's funny too because the whole time I'm like, Dillashaw is a douche. I hate that guy. Look at him, and the thing is, he walked into the arena, just walked in, Meanwhile, and then they show Garbrandt with his like
sprinting.
dumbass suit that he was wearing and holding like some like model's hand or something and
Is that his
glasses.
No.
He
have no
probably.
idea.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I briefly watched it, but usually he's like with his wife.
Yeah.
Maybe
His
it was
wife's a
Could
little
be.
kind of hot, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was her, but either way, he just had this look about him, like
Erase that part.
wait, yeah.
No, we're live.
Forget everything I said earlier, guys. But I don't know what's going to happen with Dillashaw. I mean, Garbrandt now. I mean, he's going to hopefully come back. Hopefully, he's going to change his game a little bit. But Ajan Scott said, I've got. He said, I think it was him. Oh, maybe it wasn't Ajan. Maybe it was Gutterman. One of those two said Garbrandt. No. Dillashaw. Okay, don't worry. Brain fart's over. Dillashaw's got Garbrandt's number. He knows how to beat him.
They've been training together. And I think that Dillashaw had a big part in developing Garbrandt, probably his wrestling side of things. I feel like he probably played a big role in that.
Yeah. So when he said that, it got me thinking. All right, should I risk my $3 on this? I'm not sure. It's a lot of freaking money.
Look, I risked my ego, okay? Like, screw the $2. Or $3. I was like,
$3.
Are you kidding me? I was pissed off.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That's not cool.
Yeah, and the Mighty Mouse fight wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
I don't really feel like that whole card was that impressive. Because anytime, like, a fight's on and I can literally talk to my neighbor,
Right.
then I know it's, like, not that exciting. Unless I'm talking shit to you.
Right.
But if I can turn away and not watch it, then I'm like,
Yeah, that's not.
it wasn't that exciting.
exciting. But anyway, back to you. Don't forget. Hopefully, I can hear you. Make sure you're talking into
Check
that.
1, check 2.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're
got
good.
me.
Do you how do you prefer to win? Like what in your game plan? I know that you come from a strong wrestling background, but does that mean that you prefer to take people down, ground and pound? Would you like to just get knockouts on the feet? Like what do you want when you fight?
Yeah, winning is definitely number one.
Well,
and
besides
as
winning.
quickly as possible. I don't go in there. A lot of people sit there and plan out the whole first round, second round, third round. That time for that is through camp, and it should be just kind of seamlessly given to you by your coaches. You shouldn't really know that that's what you're doing. They'd kind of just program you through the camp. What was the question again? I just had a brain fart.
Well, how do you prefer to
How do I
win?
prefer to win?
Like, how- yeah.
I don't know. I've won. I've submitted people. I've knocked out people. I've gotten the TKO thing.
What's the
from
sweetest?
From an animal side of it, definitely ground and pound TKO. Like getting on top of somebody and just going to town on them and having somebody pull you off of them. That's pretty It's a pretty cool animalistic feeling.
exhilarating.
Yeah.
And on a technical side, maybe submitting
From
him.
a technical side, I want to cleanly knock you out and then leave. Like, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want it to, no touching. Boom, goodbye. Like,
And then
get out of
a
here.
walk-off knockout. God, I
Yeah.
love those walk-off knockouts.
Yeah, they're fancy.
That's as gangster as it gets.
Yeah.
Like the person that jumps up and down. I get it, adrenaline's going and whatever, but the person that knocks somebody out and then like runs around the cage
Matt
with their
Hunt.
hands up.
Yeah,
Mark
jumps
Hunt.
over the cage, puts the
Yeah.
one leg over.
That's not impressive to me because
Like,
what that tells me is that you didn't think you were going to get that.
you
right?
didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah, but the person that just knocks him out, turns around, and then just goes to their corners like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is some like
came
fedor.
in there, did your job,
Yeah,
and you're out.
I love
Hunt.
I love that. I love that because it's like job. I like anybody who goes, yeah, it's work. I go in there,
Yeah,
I do
it
my
is
job, and then I leave. That's
Yeah.
what I do. You know, it's
Contract.
yeah,
a contract killer.
Yeah, exactly.
Leah, the combat contract
Yeah,
killer.
contract. Shit. You pay me, I'm there. Like, let's go.
That's right. So as far as your fights go, what do you think about the opponents that you've had? Like, do you feel like you fought pretty much difficult opponents, or it's been a mixed bag, or what?
Yeah, it's been a mixed bag. I've had easy. There's no easy opponent. But it's a man who's the same as you, who had the same opportunity as you to train to kill you. You know, you both. It's an even playing field from that standpoint. You know, and that's how you're supposed to look at competition. Is, you know, like you said before, this is going to be life or death. Like we are two people entering, and only one gets to leave. So. Just keeping that mindset through training camp that, you know, this is basically for my protection. You know, I train like this for my protection, but I'm gonna go test it and see if it actually works. You know, so
And the best shape that I've ever been in was knowing that 6 weeks out someone's gonna come after me.
Yeah,
and I got to be ready for that.
Better
person.
be ready. Yeah,
And every time,
situation.
you know, like every time you get on a 6 mile run, every time that you
Doing
are
those hill sprints,
hill
in the freaking
sprints.
winter, dead ass cold outside, you still got to do them.
Yeah, and you're
waking up at 5
I would
o'clock
be a
in the
raging
morning.
bitch. I would be like, "Oh my god, this person is on my kill list," and
that
I'm coming
motivates
for
you.
You know
That
what I mean?
motivates you, yeah.
It's
well,
like,
you know, like
That's
I'm.
the struggle.
you got me outside.
The struggle is motivating.
4
And
a.m. in the morning.
And at the end of the day, when you get out of your Epsom salt bath,
Hey, because
when-
that's the thing.
hell yeah,
Or ice bath.
ice
Yeah.
bath
Sucks.
Yeah, when you get out of that, you lay your head down on your pillow and you're just like, did they train harder than me today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found myself during many a camp actually getting my ass right back out of bed and being like, nope, you're gonna go downstairs and gonna do 3 rounds of shadow boxing. You're gonna go on that 2.5 mile run that you didn't do this morning. Sorry, bud.
Get it in.
It's 11:30.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Get it in.
That's probably one of the hardest things about fighting is that you have to put the work in. If you don't, you will get run through.
And like I said, I've heard people call you the hardest working guy in MMA. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that people think that about you? What do you do?
I don't know. I maybe my mentality. Maybe I don't know.
You definitely train hard.
Yeah, I don't want to stop. Maybe I think that a lot of people want it to end, and they want to be like, oh, I did my hour. Oh, okay, check the box.
Yeah.
I want to keep going. I want to know if I did something wrong, like I need to fix it. All right, so let's fix it. If I think my cardio's out of whack, I need to be like, all right, bud, well, it's time to get your cardio. You know, I just want to be the best that I possibly can. So, just keeping an open mindset when you train and just having fun with it. You know, it is a job, but at the same time, like, it's a fucking awesome ass job. Like, I get to grapple, I get to hit pads, I get to.
I'm
you
like,
know.
I can hit people and not get arrested.
Yeah.
So I'm happy, you know. But to play off that though, one of the things that I definitely learned from, you know, you and the other teammates is that, like, so even if we have, like, you know, an hour and a half class where, you know, you already did the mile or 2 mile run before that, even after an hour and a half, it's like people are still going. Like, people are leaving, packing up to go home, and you guys are still going. You guys are still in there training, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? I'm like, I'm dying. Can
That's
I say
that-
the F-bomb on here? Because
that's that
it's like
team.
it's like slipping.
Yeah, I was about to say you. This will definitely be.
It's not a kid show.
Yeah, this will definitely have to go in the explicit.
Adult only.
Yeah. But you know, you
Yeah.
you guys do just you keep going.
And that's what it
So-
takes. That's what you were referring to earlier. You know, about the teams. Like, usually there's a team. That's what she's talking about. Is we're a team. You know, we stay after to make sure that, you know, Sean's got his fight on the 25th.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to work on this, you need to work on that.
Doing
So
pad
go
work,
do it now.
sparring with you.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting your ass handed to you, but it's by like people that genuinely care about you, want to see you do good. You know, so.
And the team is not. It's not something that I've heard of people. You know, like David Arvelo was telling me about people that
You can't say his name without saying his last name. It's like a thing.
Yeah,
Like, it's the
yeah, you
same
really
thing.
can't. You can't.
I don't know what it is.
It's
but
a great
it's the
last
same
name,
thing.
yeah.
It's
It
a
is
strong-
like it just kind of goes together.
I know.
David Arvelo.
David
Yeah.
Arvelo, man.
Yeah, you gotta just.
It
say
really
that.
does. Just I don't.
Yeah.
I could say that 10 times fast. Probably not going to try, but
Yeah.
yeah. So David Arvelo.
We do some slow jams in honor of him.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. We'll play slow jam out of this thing. But he had said that there are guys that come in with no team,
Yeah.
not even short, like proper fighting gear. Like they just come in and fight Amy, and
Some of them make it into pro, but they don't last, you know.
I don't get that. Like,
Yeah.
how can you? I get training yourself, and I know that there's people that are so motivated that they're able to train themselves, but there's so many things that are outside of your perspective. Like you can't see it. You can't see some of the mistakes you're making or whatever. Even when it comes to like future stuff, like even in life, I tell people you need what do you call it? You need mentors. Even in life, you need mentors.
Yeah.
Especially in life.
Especially in life, right? But in the fight game, no mentors. You don't have anybody looking out for you. Like I don't even understand how people do that. So I say, first thing before you even get into fighting is like like Leah was talking about earlier, is have that team. Find the right team. And if you walk into a place and you're there for a couple weeks and you don't get the vibe like they're going to take care of you no matter what, there's other gyms out there. You can leave that gym.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time.
That's a real thing, because it's not like training is hard enough. Like already your body is being, physically destroyed. You're pushing yourself to the max. Sometimes like you literally can't think after or even walk to your bed because you got a leg kick. You got your legs kicked out, whatever. But also there's like the whole point of like, your personal life and stuff like that also affects your fighting.
Oh, yeah.
So, to have, when you talk about team, it's not just about, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to fuck shit up, and then I'm going to leave. It's like, okay, there's also like building up to a fight, and that's one thing that I'm always like worried about, like thinking in the back of my mind is like, how do you handle your personal life mixed with fighting, trying to cut weight, trying to train correctly, giving yourself the nourishment that it needs by replenishing everything you lost during training. There's like so many you have to earn a living in the meantime too.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's
a
like so
lifestyle.
many things. So like, how do you handle that?
Oh, how do I handle it?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm like, I am making the points.
No,
but
yeah,
it's
that's
like
no,
literally
it's,
like,
yeah.
what would you say to other people that are trying to do this, take fights?
You got to be about it. You be about it or not. Like if you're not about it, you're not going to do those things. If you are, then you will do those things and you'll be successful. I don't have the best record. When I was an amateur, I spent 2 years losing.
Yeah.
I had 5 losses back to back to back to back to back. It's because I was doing the wrong things. I wasn't doing the right things, I just, the team aspect was gone too at that time. I was trying to find a new home. The history of Winchester mixed martial arts is rather interesting. Somebody could write a book on it. It's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So the first guys that ever brought mixed martial arts to Winchester were George, this guy named Mitch, Joe Boserman. And they had, Eddie, a couple other guys that they trained, right? So basically they grew this gym. They got affiliated with MMA Institute and Rick McCoy. And then they had a disagreement. They had a falling out. Personally, the falling out was, I thought it shouldn't have happened. I thought that one was wrong for what the decision they had made, and the other was right in making the decision he had made. So I was like, but I respected both these men, because like my mom said, these are the men, and I looked at them, and now they're fighting, and now they're separating, and now here I am. It's kind of like it's a family dynamic, So, excuse me, just getting over a cough. yeah, so Joe opened his own gym, and George kept on training there, and basically gave me an ultimatum because I wanted to go see my old friends that had left the gym and train with them across town, and I don't really like ultimatums, so I went to Joe's for a little while. He did the MMA thing for a good bit there. Had a lot of good fighters there, but they were family men. They were hobbyists. They wanted to do it to have fun and just kind of like. And I was very like this. I want this to be something that I can go as far with. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go as far as I can with it. No questions asked. So, he knew that I was looking for a home, another gym to go to. And at that time I was in the military, so I got to travel around the country. I got to train at a lot of cool places like Combat Sports Academy. Awesome gym. Coach Kieran up there, great guy. And I just got to meet a lot of cool people. Ben Henderson's gym. I didn't even realize who Ben Henderson was while he was teaching the no-gi class. And then I Google Ben Henderson. I'm like, oh, what? That's cool. So then Anthony Cordero was at MMA Institute Winchester when he started. That's where he started because he was going to Shenandoah. And I was his first striking coach. I quote it because I wasn't very good at striking back then. So anyways, he had moved back to Nova in the area, and I asked him where he was training at, and he said, this gym Disciple, man, it's legit, like, come in. And when I went in, it reminded me so much of CSA. Just like, here was CSA and here was Disciple. Like, Disciple was on its way to be, like, as big, because CSA's got, you know who they are. They've got, Kevin Ross and Miriam Nakamoto and a slew of killers. So I saw that, and I was like, well, shoot. Dustin was there, and then we had Crew Carlos, Lopez was there, this kid Junior was there, Pablo was there. We just had a bunch of killers, and we've had killers through the years. But
I think that was the biggest surprise, like walking in there. I was like, oh shit, like they do not mess around. You guys, everybody in there trains hard. Everybody's pushed to the maximum. So
yeah, what was the question? I kind of went down memory lane there.
I don't know. Who knows?
But anyway, so why is Winchester? You could write a book on it. So now, unfortunately, George is down in Alabama. George is a great instructor, great coach. But everybody is under the same roof again at the Winchester Jiu-Jitsu Academy. So Joe and Jeff and Bob, the guys that were starting under Joe and George back, were all under the same roof. And it's like a nicely knit community of true mixed martial artists.
Wow,
so,
that's awesome. That's good.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you were. It's. I've got this like pad of questions for you, and the problem with having the pad is that I always want to go off of the pad and like start off-roading with questions and stuff, but I gotta like reel myself in. So let me stick to my pad and see where we go. But
okay.
Going off the idea of you and your hard work, right?
Hard work.
That's what we're talking about. So he can sound off. This guy definitely was in the army. Every time I see you never seem like I never seen you fat. First of all, that's never happened.
Good job. Good job on keeping
really
that out.
That one.
Yeah, so far so good there. But as far as like getting ready for fights, is it? Yeah, sorry,
I'm dying.
I'll turn this thing down off in a second. But as far as like getting ready for fights, do you have to do anything special for your diet? Like, do you even have a diet before getting ready for fights?
Yeah, so when I was cutting to 55 and amateur, there wasn't much information out yet on the proper way to lose 25 pounds when you're already 6% body fat. There was, but it's not healthy. Period. So back then it was I'd eat literally like an orange, a piece of toast, and an egg for the entire day.
Oh no!
And I would span that out through the day and then train 4 hours. And
lots of water, obviously.
Lots of water, tons of water, free. I was going through school, just got my first job. I was working a full-time job, going to school part-time, and then I just started training too.
Insane.
Yeah, and then I had a girlfriend that lived in Fairfax, so that was like, and I was in Winchester, so it was like,
Jeez.
It was a lot. But
that's a 2-hour drive, right? Yeah. About.
Oh yeah, from Winchester, well, an hour and a half, 2 hours, yeah. But so the dieting definitely didn't happen for the first, at least until I went pro and I met Chris from Beyond Strength. He helped me grow so much in the health and fitness aspect of being a fighter, because I was a young kid that just wanted to beat people up, you know, and like be able to defend myself and not get beat up. So, like be the winner, you know, instead of always getting my butt kicked.
I love, by the way, sorry, not to digress into anything, but I love that that's your attitude. I love, you know, people look at him, and I'm looking at all the, you know, when I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at all the comments and stuff, and people are like talking about, you know, where is it? I'm trying to get to it. Chase goes, can we please talk about how long it takes Kenny to do his hair in the morning? The people,
is that a thing?
Important. These are the important questions.
It used to be.
Look,
when I was a kid.
Dwayne Ball, Kenny G, Mr. GQ of MMA. Respect, bro.
D-Ball, what's up?
I mean, all this. Chase,
guys.
Chase again. Chase has got a big crush on you. Kenny is such a stud. Yeah, like.
I like your abs, by the way.
people look at Kenny, man, and it's easy to look at him and go, man, this guy's never seen adversity. This guy's never seen. I mean, look at him. He's tall. He's fit. Good-looking guy. This guy's never seen adversity. But it sounds like your story is just filled with adversity that you've had to overcome.
Yeah, a lot of it was mental. A lot of it was self-imposed, and I'm not realizing it was self-imposed until I left the nest. Just mental stuff, pretty much.
Like what though? You want to get into that?
No, maybe
maybe
another day.
The next podcast.
Okay, all
or
right.
with a psychologist or something. No, no.
It's okay. Next time we'll warm you up with a glass of whiskey.
The same thing that most kids have. You know, feeling like they want to fit in, feeling like they're not I had no confidence. I was picked on at school, but then at home it was also kind of like, just go to your. You know, my mom was very loving up to a point, and then it was pretty much just say, you know, you guys getting the hell out of this house when you're 18. And I was like, all right, fine, I can't wait to get out of this house. So, yeah, just getting out and learning how to be in the world was just kind of a bit of a challenge, because I didn't always have the correct guidance on, you know, where to go for things or how the world works quite. So I had to figure those things out on my own, and that was just challenging, you know, being a kid.
You're in your 30s now.
Yep.
So
hit 30.
How do you feel about yourself and your mentality and all that? Like, how do you feel you are now?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I mean, I'm not trying to like feel like I'm the greatest ever, but I feel like mentally I've definitely come very far, very, very far. It's hard to just put into words and describe right now on the spot like how it happened, because it's slow change. And how it started was I recognized these things in me because people were not enjoying their time with me. They were not coming back to hang out with me. They were just like, oh, that guy's kind of like weird. He's kind of like, he says things that are just kind of off the wall. Like he's, you know, just getting weird vibes basically. So I was like, what am I doing to make, they're just giving off these weird vibes. Yeah. And so I started thinking back through growing up and like different situations that I'd run into with like, you know, family member here, family member there, or a person here with family, you know, and just kind of like analyzing all of that and realizing that I'm the issue here. I should probably try to work on myself. So one of the things was pessimism. I would always, and I still have a really hard issue with it, assume the worst before the best. One of my my squad leaders down at Benning, he's like, man, did you ever think that it could be a good thing, you know? Because I would come to him with, you know, issues that were going on at home or whatever, with the girlfriend back home or whatever, and he'd say, you know, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, you know, it could be a good thing, not always a bad thing. So, yeah, that's one of the things that it's been kind of hard to overcome. Yeah,
the pessimism,
the negative energy, because it sticks to you.
And and where do you think that comes from?
The negative energy.
Saging.
Not saging. No, for real. She's onto something, man. Sage. Burn that sage. There's something relaxing
no,
about
I
that.
felt like for a second, it's like Jeopardy. What is?
Where does the desire to make that choice come from?
Yeah. Like why do you go pessimism? Now I understand that you create a groove inside yourself where that becomes the natural response, but that's not the natural response. Like most children, right? When they grow up, the natural response is usually the positive, not the negative, right? For the most part.
Right.
And I guess my question is, where is it that you don't feel like you're living up to yourself, to your own ideas and expectations? Is it that you're a people pleaser and you're not living up to their expectations?
Yes. So now, no. But when growing, yeah, from like 17 to 22, I did a lot of growing. Like that was a 5 years of just, I'm working on me. And it was, yeah. What was the term you just used a second ago? The last one. Do you remember it? Shit. People pleasing.
People pleasing, yeah.
Yes. I wanted everybody to like me. So when I realized that they didn't like me, I tried to get all of them to like me. And then through life, I realized that I don't want all of them to like me. Now that I'm 30, I'm like, how about I just keep, they say if you can count 5 people on your hand, you're in a good spot. So thankfully I can do that.
And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Zig Ziglar, quote, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much are.
Yeah,
I love Zig Ziglar. So yeah, back to the mentality of overcoming it.
Yeah. How do you overcome that? How do you think you overcame it?
I wanted to make sure that I wasn't leaving a negative impression on people, because if I'm gonna, when I was younger, I did make a few attempts at my life as a young adult, and I didn't kind of want to be here, and I realized I didn't have the courage to actually go through with it after the attempts that I had made. So when I realized I didn't have the courage to go through it, I was like, well, I'm pretty much stuck here on this earth. So what can I do? And I was like, I'm not going to try to make people's lives harder. I don't want to be, somebody that people don't like. So I just want to be here and help as many people as I can. And I've got my own morals and standards. And if you've got yours, great. We can talk about the differences and the same similarities and stuff. But at the end of the day, mine are mine and yours are yours. And I've spent a long time forming mine and chiseling it out and
figuring all that out for yourself.
Yeah.
They say if a lot of people go, I wish I could have known what I know now and go back to high school with that.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Would you be who you are?
Yeah, you'd be different.
I mean, I'm not like looking back on the past and going, oh, I'm looking back on the past and being like, all right, well, I'm happy now. Like if I didn't have that, who would I be? Would I be working a corporate job still and married with 3 kids and locked and trapped and all because I went right from high school to college right into a job, or
it's like this standard of like how each person is supposed to like live their life, and it's like, look, you can't tell a fish to go climb a tree, so to speak. Everybody's different, so everybody has different aspects, but I definitely think like as you age and you get and I always think like 30 is like kind of like that magic number where you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop trying to impress people. You have like a good amount of knowledge.
That was an accident. That was a
okay.
Did not mean to hit the bell.
Like I don't know.
In the word.
Yeah, I was like, thanks. Good point, Leah. But
I'm definitely the strongest I've ever been, the healthiest I've ever been. For fighting wise, as the body goes. And mentally, I mean, I'm always just every day you try to, just basically try to do better than you did yesterday. And you just wake up and go, all right, what's next? Not, oh, I don't want to wake up. Or, like as soon as you think like that, you got to kill that thought. You got to get that thought out of your brain, take a deep breath in and just expel it out. Put a good one in there.
That's awesome. So yeah. And what you're saying there is not, it's not something that everyone it's not common sense for some reason. People don't realize that your thoughts are not just happening. Like you take control of your own thoughts, and your thoughts actually affect your body.
Yep.
And they affect what's going on around you. It's a real thing. And
very real.
But people don't train to change their thoughts when they go negative. They just kind of like allow that to happen. It turns into a spiral. Next thing you know, you're having a bad day, you've got depression, anxiety, and all these other things. And it's like, well, you got to stop it. And then, like what you just said, and replace it with something. Yeah. You, again, going back to adversity, I would love to know, I guess, the hardest fight. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit. So I'll ask it in 3 different ways, okay? What's the hardest fight physically that you've ever had?
Okay. I was in the Dominican Republic. Mario Yamasaki was the ref. It was a pretty cool promotion. I was down there with Rick and a couple of the other MMA Institute guys. I let my martial artist slip a little bit, and we found some ladies that were there from America, and they were down there studying abroad, and we were flirting with them all day on the day of weigh-ins, and then we weighed in, we came back, flirted with them some more, hung out with them all night. The day of the fight, we hung out with them all day. Like, it was a little much. Like, we should have waited till after the fight, pretty much. But anyway, it was at 155, and I was fighting this guy who was a straight striker. And I had some pretty decent striking by this point. It had developed a little bit, but I was mainly a ground guy. I was going to get you down. I was going to submit you. I was going to hit you with these hands as long as I could until I had to take you down, you know, because the fight started standing. But this guy just beat me up like bad. One of the guys I was down there with, staying in my room, he was into this NO Explode stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess weight lifters will take this or power lifter, whatever, and will take this, and it gets all hyped and stuff.
You're talking about pre-workout?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, this was my introduction to pre-workout was that
shit.
night. Yeah.
That's a bad time.
It was a bad time.
Oh,
So
no.
lesson learned here, do not put anything in your body. It seems like common sense, but this guy was... I said, no, I got my smoothies. I like making I was really into fresh fruit, and like the Dominican had all these great fruits that I bought off our fruit stand. I was like making these blendings. And he's like, man, all you need is some NO Explode. And I was like, no, this is a good source of carbs here. This is good energy. And Dominicans don't start anything on time. The fights are supposed to start at 10 p.m. They started at 1 a.m.
Oh
I would
gosh.
like to make a joke, but I cannot. We'll see.
CPT. I knew exactly.
You know, it's like, come on, you should know this.
Yeah, wait a minute. I got to hit my inappropriate bell.
So yeah, they started way late. I had already warmed up and gotten tired like twice because they said, oh, we're going to start in an hour. Come back. Oh, no, we're not. So people are still coming in. And they were. People were packing in there. So anyways, I said, all right, man, you got that NO Explode stuff. I'm kind of tired. You know, I was one of the last fights of the night. So I was like, yeah, you know, let me get some of that. And I took it. And man, I went out there and beat the shit out of this guy for the first round. I got him in a triangle, mounted triangle, started hammering down. Ding, ding, ding. I was like, ugh. So they pulled me off him. I went back to my corner, sat down. I don't really remember what Rick was saying. He was kind of just spinning in front of me.
Oh, jeez.
And I just felt completely deflated. Just like I was sitting in the stool. I was exhausted. I went to get up and I felt like I was wearing a sumo suit. I was like, why am I so heavy? Tried to lift my hands up and it was like they were tied to the back of the cage.
Oh my gosh.
And I just literally took an ass beating for the next round and a half. I think it got stopped like 1 minute left in the third round. Oh. But I just sat there, 8 shots, tried to throw him back, sloppy takedown attempt, came up, threw shots, got caught again, like just took a beating. So
you don't do that anymore, do you? You don't do any of those supplements?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I did play with pre-workout a little bit when I started lifting again, like 5 years later. But I don't mess with it at all.
And anymore. What was now the next one is what was your hardest fight mentally?
Yeah, to get over as far as losses go, would be Gregor Gillespie.
And that was your third pro fight.
My third pro fight on a huge platform. Ring of Combat has sent over 50 people to the UFC. So, and Gregor is now in the UFC. But anyways, he was 0-0. He's just a wrestler. I was like, my jiu-jitsu is going to be better than him, if not on par with his wrestling. I got him on the striking. Coaches were like, just stick and move, stick and move, stick and move. So I went out there, bop, bop, stuck him. Saw him fade back a little and was like, oh, did I hurt you? And then I came in again with the right hook and he shot in. And I was like, all right. So he shot in. I went for I'd like to do this little hook sweep one. Well, back then I did. When somebody would shoot in on you, you'd kind of roll with them and flip them over you. So when I flipped him over me, I turned to face him. And as I'm facing him, he's facing me. I see his hips just like autocorrect in midair and just starts coming at me. I'm like, all right, jiu-jitsu time. So I pull got my guard and I'm going for my underhooks and he just passes my guard like it was nothing, goes straight to mount. I was like, what in the fuck? So I started covering up, trying to shrimp, cover up, trying to shrimp. He's throwing punches. None of them are getting through. They're pitter-patter punches. It kind of just looks pathetic. I'm at 155 still. And after about a minute of just me squirming around under this guy, the ref just pulls him off and is like, you didn't improve your position. I was like, yeah, but I was defending and trying. Like, you're supposed to defend your position, or you're supposed to defend show that you can defend yourself and then improve your position. So I was like, man, that sucks. Because it's like, I didn't even get beat up. Like, that's not, I mean, not that I want to get beat up, but, you know, if you take a loss, you're dying.
Yeah, yeah. You want to say like black eye, broken nose, like something dramatic.
Yeah.
Like us too.
That reminds me.
It felt like just getting punked more than anything.
That reminds me
dang.
of John Hughes's loss and then win. Luckily, he was able to rematch the guy for Mike Ferrante.
But mentally, so there's two sides, right? So I focus on the losses. But you're saying what was the most challenging physically or mentally? It would have to be my pro debut. Because I was, and I'm not, you know, I smoked cigarettes for 10 years. From when I was 14 till I was 25. So I guess 9 years. 11 years. But when I was 21 and I started training, I said, I'm going to cut the cigarette smoking back to just when I'm partying. So out on the weekends or, you know, things like that. So I was a casual smoker for about 4 of those years until I finally quit. And the day that I quit was my 25th birthday because I just accepted my pro debut. And I was like, thinking that I deserved a cigarette because it was my birthday. And then thinking about the fight that I had just talked about coming up and was like, professional athlete, deserve it because it's your birthday. Like, does that make sense to you, Kenny? No, put the fucking thing out. And that was the last time I had a cigarette.
Wow.
So, yeah, but the point of me mentioning the cigarette smoke, I can't remember. What were we talking about?
We're talking about your toughest fight mentally.
Yes, was my pro debut. I was down at Benning. I had just had my last cigarette, and I was like, I had to, you know, obviously clean out my lungs. I just went super like, that camp right before my pro debut was when I made the decision that this is going to be something that I pursue, and I'm going to do it right. I'm going to take care of my body. So I was running what, 3 miles to the unit, like the unit office, and then I'd do my work, and then I'd get released for lunch. I'd go lift, and then I'd come back and work, and then I'd get released. I'd run back. Then I'd go to the academy and train down in Benning. I'd do boxing, jiu-jitsu for 2.5 hours. Like, that was every single day.
Wow.
I was eating. I got up with Chris.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got up with Chris, and, you know, he got me on a good meal plan for cutting down to 55. Like, I was eating right, all of that. And then the win came easy. Like, I fought a tough dude, Troy Whitman. Tough motherfucker. He hit me with a leg kick that I didn't even see coming. And luckily, my hand was up. You know, because that's what, you know, you're training. But it was up, but I felt it go like through my arm and hit me in the head and was like, nope, time to go, bud. So getting him down and finishing him was a big win mentally because of all the stuff I had changed between my amateur and then when I decided I was going pro. You know,
wow.
That was a big day. So.
Wow. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, and to all my students listening, that is bad behavior. Do not do that. Start now eating right as an amateur.
That's
do
right.
not party.
Yeah,
I think you know, people when you talk about eating right, people make that shit so complicated. It's like, look, it's actually not complicated. Mm-hmm. How about you don't open up something from a bag and eat it? Mm-hmm. If you do, it should have like 1 ingredient, 2 ingredients, maybe 4, because it has some salt, pepper, and garlic on it or something for a spice. But it's like literally eat like a steak, you know, have a vegetable, broccoli with that or whatever. It's like actual whole foods, not like something that's processed. You know, you shouldn't have to really worry about reading food labels because they should all be in English and not stuff that looks foreign, you know?
And not using terms that mean something else that you have to go Google to find out.
Like, what is this?
Like sugar, saccharin. Like sugar's got like how many names?
A lot.
Yeah, glucose.
Yeah.
I've lost, since January, I've lost, I guess 25 pounds.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to get back down to my fight weight, which is 155.
All right.
But yeah, all I've done though so far, besides now I train jiu-jitsu over at Alpha JJ. All I've done is I don't do the sugar, and I don't do the bread. A lot of carbs. That's all I've changed.
Sugar is a real thing. So, sugar is the exact same thing. Hey, but I'm just saying it's the exact same thing as I was about to say something that's like, ooh, should I not? But I don't even care. It is the truth. Sugar is as addicting as cocaine is. It's literally a drug.
What?
Was that too much? Well, okay, you understand what I'm saying, but literally, it's like it's in every single thing. If you turn over something, it's in the back of everything. It's addicting. It makes you fat. you know, and then it makes you cranky when you don't have it.
Right.
So so sugar and, you know, do away with the carbs. Those are big things.
I mean, if you can just do that, and I told myself, because I'm the
Drink a
type
gallon
of
water a day.
lot of water.
yeah,
Here,
water is everything.
Turn it so it's pointing. Yeah, there you go. There's a guy. Everybody listening, you guys should check out John Lovell on YouTube. He's a YouTuber, Army Ranger, and he's got videos on training, guns, all that stuff, like the combat, not sports, but the combat. Yeah, and what he talks about, he has a video specifically talking about how he made it through training to become SF, and that's Special Forces, and he said, I had to lie to my body. My body would say, hey, I'm tired. And he said, the only way I got through it was lying to my body saying, oh, don't worry. We're just going to run up to this, this berm right here, whatever. And then we'll stop.
Yeah.
Like he would, and he knew that wasn't true,
Yeah.
but for some reason that worked for him, where he would just lie and say, yeah, when we get to like the next whatever tree or path or whatever, we'll stop. And then he'd lie it again. He'd go, okay, no, seriously, we're going to stop. And he would just do that until he was done. And after a while, your body finally gets to the level where your mind is.
Right.
And it's like now my body's not complaining like it once did. That's kind of what I've been doing with getting rid of sugar and all that, and eating healthier, eating cleaner. Is that yes, I was addicted to I guess gluten or whatever. I was addicted to the bread. I was addicted to sugar, and I lied to my body, and I just said, yeah, I'm gonna do it for a week, and then I would do it for a week, and I'd feel awesome, and then I'd be like, do it for another week.
Yeah, exactly. And like you were saying, like I like how you say like, oh, I don't take pre-workout, because like people go overboard with that. It's like, oh my God, I'm shaking. I can feel spiders in my veins. It's like, you realize that these probably aren't good feelings, It's like, why don't you check your heart rate while you're at it? Because your heart's probably going to explode right now. But anyhow, like, definitely like shots of espresso. Just straight shots of espresso. Like, take like 2-3 of those and then go to the gym. Tell me how you feel. You will be like balls to the wall, crazy, doing acrobats in between your sets.
And that's like, way more delicious and awesome.
Yes.
I love espresso.
Facts. And it's easy to get, easy to make. It's less expensive than pre-workout.
They've got a Starbucks.
And it's natural.
They've got a Starbucks dealer on every corner.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Or you can make it at home.
Caffeine is probably as addictive as cocaine.
Hell yeah,
I think
dude.
it's equal.
Yeah. I drink it every day, man.
Yep.
And I used to drink like you guys remember those extreme gulps you could get from 7-Eleven? Those I used to drink that much coffee every day.
Oh wow.
I had to
That's
cut down.
intense.
Yeah, it's too much. When coffee no longer has any like that effect on you anymore, like it actually makes you sleepy. That's when you know, okay, I think I'm an addict. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I would like to. I think this is really important. Okay, for me. You guys know, with the Righteous Anger podcast, we're about to hit 50 episodes of that. We've been doing that for almost 2 years. This is 10 on the Fight Game podcast. I would like to. I always have like a specific clip in mind when for each episode, because I don't bring like bums on to my podcast.
No bums allowed.
No bums are allowed,
All right, I'll get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here, Kenny. But the reason why I say that is because I only bring on people that are going to do a service for the people watching. And you've already given so much in this podcast already, man. It's like literally you're actually better than I thought you were going to be. And I already thought you were going to be a great interview, but the amount of thinking that has gone into your life thus far is totally evident, My question, I got to ask you about this last loss. You just came off of a KO win before that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You, how are you taking that right now?
It's been an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
I didn't just take a loss. I got knocked the fuck out. I walk off, knocked the fuck out, like laying on the mat for 5 minutes, unconscious. It was a scary thing. I didn't know it was scary at the time. I didn't really even understand how scary it was until a few weeks later, because it took a few weeks for my brain to just get back to a proper way of thinking. Like, it was just very depressed. It was angry. It was a lot of things. So you take a loss like that, you start, this is my career, this is my livelihood, this is this is my body, I want to take care of it. I want to make sure that the right decisions are being made.
Right.
So you start picking apart everything and making sure that everything is dressed and how it should be. And if it's not, you've got to make some changes. So right now, I love fighting. I will continue to fight. But right now I'm definitely put that on pause. I'm going to focus on, the great guys that I've got under me, the great gals that I've got under me, and help, them get built up. But, because of how bad, I still have neck pain from it.
Really?
Like, it's the exact amount of pain that I had the next day. So yeah, just put things in perspective.
Have you seen obviously you've seen a doc since then, right? Like what kind of news have you gotten as far as like your brain and neck and everything?
Yeah, real life right here. This is one of the things that I'm also looking into is currently uninsured. Fighter that is uninsured. Insurance is a ridiculous.
That's a real fucking problem.
Amount of money.
That's a real thing, though. That I think a lot of people experience. Is that it's not just because you're a pro fighter does not by any means mean that you have some kind of free health care, free health coverage given to you.
Yep.
So yeah.
So for years I spent I worked at the bank, the credit union, and the best out there, and I also trained, and I was kind of building both of those careers up simultaneously for about 8 years. And you get to a point where you have to make a decision to further yourself in either one. You choose one, basically. You either decide, I'm going to be doing this corporate life, I'm going to go make my way into that AVP office or the VP office of the branch one day, or you say, I'm going to go ahead and chase my dream that I started with to get to those platforms that I want to get on and show people that, you don't have to be talented to be successful at something. You just have to work hard and make the right decisions. So, and making the right decisions that's a hard one to at least the decision's made, but they're not always the right ones. And,
right.
and it's hard to say that. It's hard to figure out what the right ones will be in the future. So that's all what's weighing on my brain right now, coming from that loss.
So you
the insurance thing, yeah. So no, I've not been checked out by a doctor, and that is number one on my list before I accept or talk about any other fights. Is I need to go get checked out. I should have been checked out that night. I don't know why I did not go to the hospital. I don't remember much. The first memory I have was, my girlfriend came up and I just saw her walking up to me, and I was like, I realized that I was sitting on the floor in the back, and there was tons of people around me. And I, at that moment, realized that I'd lost the fight. And I was like, oh, he caught me with that right, didn't he? Because I like, before you go out, you kind of see I knew what I was doing. Like, I was slipping, and then I guess he timed my slip and caught me clean. But I just apologized to her because, going through a camp isn't easy for any spouse, or, significant other. So, yeah, I should have gotten checked out that night. Did not. Spent a few weeks trying to recover from the concussion. And now I'm healthy again. I'm training again, back to it full time. So the neck, I just basically train as hard as I can, be smart about it, drill a lot. My yoga and my stretching has gone up.
Oh, very good.
You
do yoga.
Yeah, I've done it for 5 years now.
Excellent.
Okay. You hit 22, 23, and you have to stretch. There's no questions.
Absolutely.
Like, if you're not stretching, you're going to get injured every other week. So I was getting injured every other week, every 4 days on the dot. Something would hurt and it'd be injured. So I just started stretching, and man, injuries are around for a very short time. It's almost like I'm 19 again, except I just have to stretch.
That's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's awesome. So everybody on here get into yoga now. Get into that stretching now.
Yoga is huge.
Yeah.
Yoga is huge. That's, like I do yoga on a regular basis as well, and it does so much for your mind and body. And I even notice, like, my flexibility is crazy. Like, it's not just about, like, when people think about flexibility, automatically they think like, hey, you know, oh, I can do the splits, I'm flexible. So it's not also about that. It's like, my back is super flexible, you know. Well, okay, this just sounds
Go on.
I meant like doing like back bends. Other parts I'm so embarrassing. Okay, anyway, other parts of your body become flexible.
Get it together, Leah. My mind didn't even go there until you brought it there. Yeah, because you brought me there.
I know. I'm just saying. Okay, so I was just trying to say.
Yes.
Generally speaking, that people think that, oh, okay, I can do the splits now or whatever. Like,
that
your
ain't
shoulders
anything.
become more flexible. So like, if someone tries to arm bar you, you have like all this extra like extensions that you can do, or your back, or whatever the case is. But anyway, it's good for your mind, your body, whatever. Also with your balance. So that's a huge thing. So. Like, if someone tries to kick you, right? And maybe your kicks suck, one. Or maybe you're tired. Or maybe you're just being lazy with your kick. You're trying to tap someone. Anyway, and then they catch your kick. So people have tried to catch my kick and dump me. And it's becoming a little bit more difficult to do because my leg can stay up there. And the leg that's on the ground, I have way more stability than the average person. I'm not saying that I can't get dumped. FYI,
Rick,
because I
that
can.
is exactly what she just said.
Yeah.
Rick Humphries. She said she
Yeah,
cannot
well,
be
no,
dumped.
that's exactly who I was thinking in my mind when I was like, it's not like I can't get dumped. Yeah, because Rick comes for me all the time.
everybody.
He comes for everybody, but I have. Okay, so the last time you guys were all for a run. And I was the only one on the mat with a couple of people that kind of are fairly new, like a couple months in. And so he walks in sweaty as fuck. I guess he just came from a run from wherever he came from. And I was like, he's like, hey, he's like, let's clinch. I was like, shit. I was like, I was the only one here too, basically. And I was like, okay. And so, but from him, I learned just like, really, like, keep moving forward. Like, do not let somebody put the fear into you, like the fear into your heart. Like, don't allow somebody to do that to you. Like, Rick's a beast, you're a beast. Like, all the guys I train with, even the girls will come for you too. Like, and they're excellent training partners. But do yoga, it'll improve your life.
There you go.
That's my PSA.
There you go.
Yeah.
What about
Stretching saves lives.
Stretching saves lives.
Yeah, and
yes.
something else was good about having a flexible back, but I don't know what it was. I don't know what she was talking about. So
Something that
some around.
Who
Hit
knows?
that dinger.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to keep you guys under control here.
Oh yeah. Chase Walden says episode 50. Kenny Good2Go Gaudreau and he can't spell your last name. And Chase the Weapon Walden, the Two Towers.
Hell
Episode
yeah.
50.
I
So
like that.
I'm gonna write that down.
Like that.
I'm gonna make your dreams come true there, bud.
Chase and I, man, when we get together, we have a good time.
I bet you guys have kind of a similar personality too. You know, you guys are upbeat, which I enjoy. And it's good for the interview. And Chase, when I had him on last episode, that dude, I didn't even have to do any of my own promotions. He was promoting. he's Leah. He's almost as good as you at promoting. He was promoting like this show after telling people, you know, and
awesome.
and by the way, on that note, guys, like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. And on top of that, please, for $1, $2 a month, you guys can help support the show. At where is it? See, he would have already said this for me.
Patreon.
Patreon.com/Fight Game Podcast. Thank you. Another help there from
Gotcha, Chase.
It's really not that expensive. I mean, people piss away $1-2. You know,
yeah, easily.
Go to the dollar store and you overspend. It's like I've done that so many times. That's the thing.
When you
okay?
go to the dollar store, don't forget to pick up your subscription and become a patron at Fight Game. Fight Game, we're trying to do a lot of amazing things here for DC, Maryland, Virginia Fight Game. The next show I'm really excited about with Leah. I'm super excited about this all access.
I'm excited for that too,
dude. It's going to be. I was going to say something offensive. It's sort of offensive, I guess. It's going to be the tits. It's going to be the tits. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's probably douchey of me to say, but that's how I feel. It's going to be amazing. Maybe I could have just said it's going to be amazing, but anyway, I'm excited for that. Subscribe.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I'm just like wondering. Okay, so you know what's really going in my mind, like going through my mind when I'm thinking about how all this is going to play out. What's going through my mind is like I have no filter. I say what I want when I want to say it. Huh?
Lots of bloopers coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the things that I say and think, I tend to think aloud a lot. So, you know.
So you're gonna
work on that a little.
So she's gonna
Maybe.
Keep those thoughts in your head.
She's gonna make good TV, is what she's telling me.
Yeah.
So she just like
So you're
made
perfect for the
herself.
job.
Yeah, she just made herself even more valuable. Thank you, Leah, for that. I think we made the right decision.
Yeah. We're gonna have fun though, but it'll be interesting for people to get to see like firsthand what shit's really about. Like people think, oh, you know, you do MMA or you do this or you do that.
You
but
do UFC.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like people don't realize what actually goes behind the training, the preparation, the work. You know, people think that when when you look at anybody's record, right, their fight record, people automatically are like, oh, they suck as a fighter because they have X amount of losses. It's like, and this person has this amount of wins. It's like, let's do some investigation here because that person with all those wins, maybe they fought really untalented people.
Just bums.
You know? Yeah. I mean, because just because you're willing to step into a ring does not mean you're fucking good.
Yeah.
At all. It doesn't. So you could be, matched with a trillion fucking bums and then you look like a superstar. Okay, awesome. Or maybe you have that other person that has some losses on their records and to the general population, these people are judging you. And they're like, oh, they're not that good. Look at how many losses they have. But it's like, no, these people went against like beasts, like monsters,
right,
like Spartans, that these guys that are that nobody wants to face. And they're like, oh, fuck it, I'll take a fight,
That happens.
Anytime.
That happens.
So,
There's actually, that happens a lot in women's MMA. I've noticed in this area specifically, there's girls that cannot get fights because they're that dominant.
Well, that and there's not a ton of female MMA fighters out there in Virginia.
There's not, and I have a blame that I'd like to place on that, and I think it's so coming into a MMA gym and doing stand up is chill for a woman. So, I'm going to punch, kick shit. Okay, cool. But a girl doesn't want to come into jiu-jitsu. For real. Like, it's a real thing for a woman.
Yeah.
You're on your back. Usually you're the only female. In a lot of, okay, don't quote me on this worldwide, but I'm saying in a lot of gyms, there's not a huge female population in any kind of ground art, whether it be judo or jiu-jitsu.
Right.
There's like little speckles here, right?
Right.
So for a woman to come in and feel comfortable mounting fully on top of another man, or another man is mounting on top of her, it's
spouse. Who's not their significant other?
Who's not their significant other, north, south. It's like, oh shit. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot
awkward.
of like sexual.
Awkward.
Like, yeah, it can be. And a lot of women don't feel comfortable going into that. So
I'm so glad that you brought that up and that you're female bringing it up because, obviously it means more. I'm gonna plug Alpha Jiu-Jitsu, alphajj.com. Check them out. They actually have all women classes. They have, and the instructor is a world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, and like no guys are allowed in there. Like they literally like you probably won't even find any guy instructors in there. Like they lock it down because they realize that's turning a lot of women away.
And that's so. What I'm saying with that is that it ties into everything, because in order to do MMA, you need a ground game. So there is that lack of female presence in any kind of ground art, which kind of sucks. And it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is intimidating. Like I'm 5'4", 125-ish pounds about. Fluctuating sometimes, but
all muscle.
So but like, okay, for example, like I've grappled with Kenny, he's 6'3", three. John. There's Sean. Like all the guys are big. They're like way bigger than me. They're like 6 foot and above, and they're all like 190 and above, like walking around weight. So it's like, it's like literally and to scramble for your life in that essence while you're like on the mat. You know, a lot of women don't feel comfortable doing that. I did have recently a girl, Jaina, from the impact class that we run from Disciple at Gold's Gym. So she recently came, and so it was her like first jiu-jitsu class. And I mean, she did great. She always has like a smile on her face.
Real positive.
Yeah, she's always like super positive, but that's the type of shit that I'm talking about. It's like, just go in.
Right.
Go in and try it. Like, stop being all damn dainty. It's like, if you're going to get in trouble, like to all women, if you're going to get in trouble, like in a situation with a man, you're probably going to be on your back.
Yeah,
that's why
it's
my
better to
daughter
know this.
Yeah.
I put my daughter in jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
5 years old. I said, listen, honey, by the time this is going to be
that's great.
Yeah, by the time this is going to be a problem for you, where there's might be a gentleman. I use that.
Yeah,
I shouldn't use that term.
Yeah,
an animal.
Yeah.
that tries to do anything with you, he's going to be in for a world of hurt.
Yeah. And so, if there's any women watching, like, are there? But
Hey,
no,
ladies.
seriously, like, come try it out.
roll.
Come to Disciple, try it out. It's a good thing that like none of the guys are like awkward people there. So
No, they literally just get to work. That's all. I mean, you go there; it's very professional.
That's much respect. That's much respect because there's a lot of, not to really get off topic, but I mean it's real things. But anyway,
I'm chilling. What's
yeah.
up?
Oh,
No,
okay.
that was cool.
No, I'm just saying like there's real like things. So like, say if a guy is like in full mount, right, and he's like trying to do stuff like chest area with a guy, like place your hand somewhere to like maybe grab an arm, something, anything, right? It's like, okay, well my chest is different than yours, so it's like sometimes like I had a guy at a different gym, and it was like his first day like in jiu-jitsu, and then like I have him in my guard, and so he's like, trying to figure out like where to place his hands, and he's like being completely awkward. I was like, dude, I have tits, these are my tits, you like, oh
Just do it.
but like,
just do it
literally,
already.
like, this is you have to. Everybody is going to be uncomfortable at some
Just be
point, and
adults
it's like,
about it,
yeah, it's
Like,
we're training. Like,
Yeah.
this is a real thing. You could be, the guy could be in that situation, whatever. But
Right.
it's like, you got to kind of put gender aside, sometimes. And one of the biggest things that I think people are going to take from it, as far as like women and men training, is that women literally, we're always fighting men. Like it's no big deal. Like, we don't think like when we go in for a clinch that, oh, let me look for a girl on the mat. It's not,
I don't know. There are some women out there that'll, like, my mom's told me, you're rolling with a woman, you treat her like a man. She wants to be there like a man. You treat her like a man. You just train with her.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I do that, and some females are not cool with it. They want to win. They want you to do worse. I've had somebody say, I will never. Anyways, I had somebody say to me once, "You're better than me." Yeah, I get it. And I was like, good. You're going to keep getting your ass kicked then until you get better. Because that's what I had to go through. That's what you got to go through.
No, Kenny.
Yes.
Kenny,
That's how you get better.
you're exhibiting your white male privilege right now. All right?
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Just
I don't believe that actually is the real thing. But anyway,
yeah, no,
I digress.
you definitely want to be the mentality that Leah's talking about, is keep an open mind and realize that this is training. This is not a black sofa. You know what I mean?
Right.
This
Yeah.
is be adult about it,
Yeah, and to the guys out there, be adult about it. Adult. No, all right. I got it.
I'm sorry.
I got it, Leah. Leah, we're gonna work really well together because I've gotten like at least 3. Like, we've had the whole like wink, wink. I get you. I get what you think. CPT was my favorite though.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Are you planning on getting back in the cage?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
oh yeah.
And what are you gonna do different now? I mean, like, what I don't know what you're gonna do different as far as being a fighter.
From a managerial standpoint, I want to have a contract. I want somebody to say, I'm investing my time in you. Here is it in writing. Here's what I'm going to do for you, and here's what you're going to do for me. And I want to see that in black and white. this is a profession. Should be professional. There should be something like that in existence, and there is for a lot of fighters. So if I don't get that, then do I deserve to step in the cage? I don't think so. If a manager is not willing to take me under his wing and say, I'm going to look out for you, I'm going to get you where you want to be, then I don't need to do it, you know? I fight because I love fighting, and I want to make sure this stuff is correct, but I also want to get this message out to as many people as I can, you know? So I want to get to the big platforms, and I want to share that story of my coming up from just being a little kid that got picked on to being a punk to being a better human being. So, and most people will find that with martial arts anyways if they just invest in it, but I'm very adamant about speaking it and sharing it with people. Yeah, so thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love having it. I see you as somebody, you know, it's a double-edged sword, okay? MMA is now in a place where it's kind of getting very WWF-y. You know, like there's a lot of like showmanship and gamesmanship and all that.
In America, yeah.
In America.
The American market.
In the American market. And, you know, these guys and I'm using the guys as in like
interchangeably. I get that.
Men and women.
I'm cool. I understand.
Yeah. But just so you guys know, when I say
Yeah,
guys,
no,
I mean
appreciate it.
I mean everybody in MMA. Fighters are looking at training their stick time, they call it, like getting on the mic and their showmanship as much as it seems their fight game as well. I get it. We're in a time of what's his name?
Technology.
I was going to say Conor McGregor.
The Conor McGregor era.
You know, we're in the Conor McGregor era where that guy's getting paid bank because of personality and being able to show up to the fight.
Show up when he needs to.
But it's like, you know, people are the masses, you know, the people that aren't like 100% invested in just the fight game. They like that. And so they're going to spend their money if they see a story evolving in front of them, right? I see you as a guy very much like GSP, where GSP never was the heel, like in life, and his personality, but also like his whole his style wasn't that either. You know, like he wasn't that, and he wasn't trying to portray that. He was just like, I'm very humble, and you know, I just bring in the, you know, that's my GSP. Sorry, but you know, he was very honest, you know, and a good guy.
Yeah, transparent.
And
Positive.
and what about that fight ethic that he had, that work ethic that he had, where he never thought he was the best. He always said, let me go improve this and let me train with everybody.
Yep.
I remember the video with Joe Rogan teaching him the spinning back kick. And it's
nice.
He gave Joe Rogan, as much respect as any other fighter that he worked with, any other trainer. And it's because that's his personality and that served him.
Yep.
I see that in you.
Thank you.
I see that you as that guy as well. So, you know, you going forward, what I hope is that you do make it to the big stage, but you keep that mentality.
Oh, we're going. We're on our way.
Let's go.
We haven't stopped because of an obstacle.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adapt and overcome, right?
Adapt and overcome, baby.
There you
All
go.
day.
So, guys, this was a good episode.
I had fun.
This was a really good episode. I'm excited. I'm excited about chopping it up and getting all the fruit out of it and all that stuff, and you know, bleeping F-bombs from Leah, you know. And all that. Oh, there it was.
Like, do we really bleep them? I
No,
mean, no. I mean, come on.
No,
You
it
should be
It's
18
like-
years of age or older if
Listen,
you're listening to this podcast.
when 12-year-olds are listening to Nicki Minaj and Amigos and
Yeah.
all that, come on, don't come at me with I can't say this and I can't say that. No, your child is a little Jimmy over here is listening to Nicki Minaj, you know,
First of all,
Iggy twerking on her new video she has, which is like nuts.
Well, he's
Like,
not.
nah,
He's
don't tell
not.
me.
He doesn't have the sound on when he's watching Iggy twerk. First of all, yeah. Well, no, it's cool, man. Ding, ding, ding. I gotta check the explicit box. There's actually an explicit box, and that's no big deal. But again, this was a great podcast. I can't wait to see what people are going to take from it, and hopefully they go forward and all that good stuff. Hopefully everybody gets into some yoga.
Yeah.
That's life
I
changing.
do yoga. We'll do some yoga. You want to do some yoga?
Yeah, I got some.
I always invite people, and I'm like, psh.
Yeah, I do. I do want to do some yoga. Oh, by the way, do all of your students look like the young lady from last night?
Jaina.
Holy crap, man.
I do have to say though, to I think all of the women that train
Beauty attracts
look
beauty, I
really
guess.
hot. I mean, all the girls are in shape. All the girls
You have
are.
to be. You have to be in shape.
Yeah, I mean,
Get
if you're
crushed.
not, if you walk in and you're not in shape, trust me,
You'll
you're
get there.
getting there in like 3 months.
Not
tops.
even, like,
yeah,
yeah.
your weight's gonna be like dropping and dropping and dropping. Like, I actually had to start incorporating more weight training because I was like, oh shit, like
Cardio's-
like cardio is like kicking my ass. I need to like put some like more muscle on. So, but yeah, Jaina, we're talking about you if you're listening.
Yeah, you got man, I'm just like, golly, man, what does that class look like? And you're a promotions master too, so she constantly has like videos and photo updates and all that, and I'm just like, man, maybe I need to train with her. I think I'm gonna start training with
Go to her for
Leah.
some consultation.
Yeah.
They're all
advice.
hot, yeah.
I'm all creepy, like I'm ready. I'm just kidding, Leah. I'm not gonna do that to you.
No, it's cool. It's
Oh, it is?
probably.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Then-
saying, like,
then I'm
I
going to do
you
it then.
know.
Yeah, I'm going. All right. Well, guys, listen. If you guys enjoyed this, obviously, if you're here doing the participating in this thing, I see a lot of people already on the live feed, and obviously, we're going to have this thing at Patreon. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be chopped up and nice, and that work. It's a lot of work, and especially stuff we're about to do with Leah is a lot of freaking work.
Let me just interrupt you real quick. If you're my friend and you do not like give $2, of your money towards the projects and the people and stuff that I'm working on, then it's like, how are you actually like supporting me when, my hopes, my dreams, my this, my that, and recently I do have to say, a lot of people, and you've seen it, like, it doesn't matter where one of our teammates fight at. Like, my friends come, and sometimes they're coming from, like, Maryland and, like, hours and hours away, but they make it, and I love seeing that because it's like we're all out here, like, supporting all these other celebrities that they're not gonna give you a hug at the end of the day.
Nope.
They're not gonna be like, oh, thanks for coming. Oh my God, a hug, whatever. You can't touch them. I mean, not that you can touch me, but I'm just saying, like, I'll break your arm, but
Figuratively speaking.
yeah,
Figuratively.
yeah. But it's like, people need to learn, like, to support each other and what people are doing. So I'm just saying to my friends, I'm making you guilty.
Yeah.
I'm pulling that guilt trip. Like, oh,
Shame.
you like me? Show it to
That's
me.
right. Yeah.
Show me the money.
Give me the money.
Yeah. Support Lee on this new project we're doing, because we're like I said, it's gonna be amazing. There's a lot of videos that we want to put out there, and we want it to be like what is it, like Tiger Muay Thai has a great marketing department. Those guys constantly putting out motivational videos about what people are doing in their gym. We want to do the same thing, but it's going to be all the gyms, all the serious gyms in the DC, Maryland,
Yeah.
Virginia area are all going to get shine. So all you coaches out there, all you owners, you need to hit up the DMs and be like, hey, we want to have a Fight Game come out there and do like a documentary, do an expose. We want Leah to come out and try out what our Fight Game is all about, what we train and all that, meet our fighters. And our fighters in this area, for as great as they are, do not get the shine
Yeah,
that
that's true.
they don't get the shine. Like
That's
these,
an interesting topic to talk on.
what's that? The
With
shine
some
that
of
you
the
don't
gym
get?
owners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
They don't
How
get
does
it. Like
We had a few make it out, but
yeah, a few,
they
right?
go up to Jersey and then, or Florida and then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like what the thing that I'm seeing is that people that are worth, that really want to make it, they have to end up moving out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
The West Coast is where it's at because everybody's got shine out there. No, F that. We're out here.
Yep.
Yep.
We got crappier weather. It
We're
means
building this up.
That's right. We're meaner. All right. East Coast, West Coast rap. Which one was meaner?
Yeah.
East Coast.
Yeah. Right.
Same thing with the fighters. So guys, help that happen. If you are true to the Fight Game here on the East Coast, specifically the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, for those of you who didn't know, then support the Fight Game Podcast. Again, patreon.com/Fight Game Podcast. Very easy to remember. And I want to get final thank you so much, Kenny. Dude, it's a pleasure. First of all, it's a pleasure to know you. But second of all, thanks for coming on the podcast and being real.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Leah, thank you for just, raising the overall value of the site, man. That's why you're here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had a good time. Had a good time.
Yeah.
Had
Thanks
a
for
good
having me,
time.
guys.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Peace.
That was fun.
Hey.